Cold-blooded troglodyte cave creatures made from blood with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. Everyone's favourite topic, right? The thing is, it's been a while since we turned our gaze toward that horrifying and terrible place known only as the SCP Foundation and the many horrors and horrific anomalous entities that lurk within its tentative global containment. Now, whilst the SCP Foundation harbours some individually monolithic monstrosities, perhaps the most vile and hypothetically devastating of these aren't just a single entity, but an entire species worth, with many voices. SCP-939, and in this hypothetical scenario, they've escaped. Uh-oh. Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied flowing voice, Jack Finch, as today we curiously ask the question, what if SCP-939 escaped? Roll the clip. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Terrifying, isn't it? But truth be told, that's actually a startlingly accurate representation of what these nightmarish creatures could potentially do, given the parameters of this hypothetical Life's Biggest Question. For the curious amongst you, of course, that scene was from the awesome 2018 movie Annihilation, directed by Alex Garland, based upon the awesome novel of the same name by Jeff Vandermeer. And yeah, it's a pretty fitting cinematic depiction to set the scene, and again, I'm sorry for terrifying you, because it is terrifying. Anyway, on with the show. Before we jump into the parameters of this hypothetical containment breach, it's probably best that we outline just exactly what we're dealing with, and if you're so inclined, now would probably be high time to check out our previous SCP-939 LBQ, where we delve into detail about the inner workings of these pack-based predators. But for those of you that aren't so inclined, let's take a quick look. As the record states, SCP-939 are a species of endothermic pack-based predators which display an atrophy of various systems similar to that of troglodytic organisms. Essentially, if that sounds a little wordy, in other terms, they're ugly as all hell and are really good at living in the dark and then not dying. Essentially, they're an anomalous species of creature that are covered in sensitive organ-like appendages and spines. Their skin is coloured red due to a unique sequence of chemicals that they're essentially comprised of that visually mimics hemoglobin. Blood. But that's it really, because the first visual hurdle we have to get over is the fact that despite being comprised entirely of a blood-like substance, the species of SCP-939 possess zero vital organ systems. Both its central and peripheral nervous systems, its circulatory systems, and its entire digestive tract are all terrifyingly absent. And that's just the first vessel of horror for SCP-939, because despite being a species whose sole existence revolves around consuming flesh, they have no way to even digest their prey. In fact, once they feast, they just end up vomiting it back out, and yeah, you get the picture. It doesn't end there though, because SCP-939 have two unique functions that are going to make the events of this hypothetical containment breach even more horrifying. We'll start with the less terrifying instance of the two. You see, SCP-939 exhale minute traces of an aerosolized amnestic substance referred to by the Foundation as AMN-C227. This substance causes temporary anterograde amnesia that is colorless, odorless, tasteless, and seems to have an innate function that causes anyone affected by it to make their way toward the dens of SCP-939, where they'll be ravenously consumed and torn to shreds. Wait, hold on a minute, did we just say dens? Yeah, because it leads us to our second unique function, the form in which this terrifying species reproduces. Now, typically, female SCP-939 give birth to litters of 12, but they don't give birth to similar blood-based pack wolves as they appear in their adult forms. No, they give birth to human infants. Human infants that, once they become juvenile, rip off their own skin, tear off their own heads, and then eat them as their new SCP-939 forms. Yeah. And if we're outlining the parameters of an SCP-939 containment breach, it would be at the hands of these terrifying toddlers. The thing is though, truth be told, although there are many instances of this species under the current containment of the Foundation, it is thought that the vast majority of SCP-939 already live out in the wild, their numbers completely undocumented. In remote portions of the planet, there could already potentially be thousands of these creatures thriving and surviving, employing their anomalous predatory instances to feast on their prey. If that was the case, the means in which SCP-939 escaped would suggest that they've been living amongst us alongside our civilization for an untold amount of time, potentially for thousands of years. And if I'm being honest, that's far more terrifying than these things breaking out of an anomalous box after after being locked inside a Foundation containment cell. Picture this, an event that has already been documented in the records of SCP-939, but a similar occurrence that would likely play out under the confines of this hypothetical scenario. You're out on a camping trip with your friends, you're having fun, you're drinking a few beers, but then suddenly you get a familiar feeling. It's odd, you feel like you've been here before, but when you voice that same strange feeling to your group of friends, they feel it too. It grips you and you can't ignore it, and that strange feeling leads you out from the camp and your friends then follow. It's like deja vu, but not quite. You go deeper into the forest and you come to a cave, and now the feeling is far more intense than before, but when you step inside and you go deeper, you hear a sound. It's like a baby crying, and then nothing. Blank. Suddenly, the next thing you remember, you wake up on the side of the road, covered in blood, and your friends are nowhere to be seen. Also, the police are there and dozens of ambulances. They're trying to get a statement from you, but you can't remember anything after going inside the cave, no matter how hard you try. Little do you know, though, you've been under the effects of AMN C227, and you and your friends were lured into the cave by a pack of SCP-939 to be eaten. You were the lucky one. You survived, and now picture that event playing out continuously, potentially across the entire planet. Yeah, it's frighteningly efficient, isn't it? Under this hypothetical scenario, the real horror wouldn't be SCP-939 escaping from the Foundation's containment. It would be trying to picture how many were already out there waiting to eat us all. Yeah, I think I'll pass on this one. Well, there we have it, our roundabout way of detailing just how terrifying SCP-939 already are, and that's without trying to picture an entire species of them already out in the wild. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Have any more horrifying hypotheticals to add? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as any intriguing insights of your own. Before we depart from today's video, let's first take a quick look at some of your more creative comments from our previous SCP-939 video. Shrek Onion says, what if the voice narrator was actually SCP-939? Come on, dude, that'd just be ridiculous. And then Tomato Head says, how can we not know that you are not an SCP-939 announcing the attack of the 939 species and taking over the planet? Yeah. You guys are really, really funny. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, forget about that one. Well, I guess we should move on. Unfortunately, that's what we've got time for in today's video. Just stick around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just Life's Biggest Questions in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.